Welcome to the 1920s in the main female characters. Today we'll be focusing on The Great Gatsby and The Sun Also Rises. This is an overview of what we'll be talking about today in this video essay. Let's take a little bit of a dive into the 1920s, or as Swifties would call it, the flapper era. Authors like F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway were definitely inspired by this time period and how it impacted society. But also, too, literature definitely had its moment in the sun because of the literary movement and the Harlem Renaissance. Let's take a look at The Great Gatsby. Let's meet Daisy, our focus of The Great Gatsby. She aspired for more and wanted to be something other than a housewife. But what about The Sun Also Rises? Let's meet Brad Ashley. Hemingway created a female character who was essentially a bold female character who did not want a man to save her. But she wanted something more out of life. And she created her own lifestyle and took her power as a woman seriously without any influence of a man. Let's take a deep dive into the 1920s. The 1920s, or the Roaring Twenties, created a new era of society. But it also created a new era for women. Women gained the right to vote, and women's fashion began to change. All while their roles in society also began to change. Women began to take the jobs of men and learn to provide for themselves. Women took the new era of society very seriously and started to reinvent how society treated the female sex and also the society standards. But with all these changes, women became something else. The flapper. A young, independent woman who had an unconventional lifestyle and wore short, bobbed hair and even shorter dresses. Our two best examples for this video essay are Daisy and Brett. Let's focus on The Great Gatsby for a little bit. The F. Scott Fitzgerald novel is narrated by Nick Carraway and follows Jay Gatsby's journey in the pursuit of Daisy, all while exploring the themes of wealth, the American dream, and the moral decay during the 1920s, or the Roaring Twenties. But what about Daisy? Daisy is the main female character and the object of Gatsby's affections. Daisy is also a woman who loves material things like money more than actual humans. Although later on she is proven to have some attachment to her cousin Nick and Gatsby occasionally. Daisy is the definition of the moral values of the aristocratic society. Now let's take a moment to appreciate The Sun Also Rises. Ernest Hemingway's novel follows a group of disillusioned American and British persons in post-World War I Europe as they navigate the aftermath and also learning how to party, drink, and occasionally bullfighting. But the one loophole nobody expected in this journey would be the main female character of Brett Ashley. Brett Ashley is the epitome of the flapper attitude and lifestyle. She owns her sexuality and flaunts it. But she's the tomboy of the friend group. But that does not stop Jake, our main male character, from falling head over heels in love with her. But that's not what Brett desires. She desires something different from what society expects of her as a woman. But she doesn't want to be the thing society expects. She desires her freedom more than anything else. Let's take a summarized look at the flapper. They wear short bobbed hair and shorter dresses. And maybe even gasp pants. But there's a subcategory nobody talks about. The tomboy. Our best example, and the example for this literary essay, is none other than Brad Ashley. Let's take a summarized look at Daisy. Daisy has all the style ideals of the flapper. But she also married for wealth instead of happiness. And, worst of all, she allows others to take the fall of her own actions. Let's do the example of the death of Myrtle Wilson. BTW, this is a spoiler-free video essay. If you want to know what happens to Myrtle, go read the book. But what about Brett? As we all know, she utilizes her sexual power over men to get what she wants. This is shown through her multiple romantic relationships. But what's not talked about Brett in the novel? Many literary experts have considered Brett to be the literary female symbol of the lost generation. In conclusion, Brett and Ashley are both considered to be flappers in their own right. But diving deeper into their characters, one will see they are different too. Daisy prefers the company of the rich and wealthy over someone like Jay. And Brett is more in the subcategory of the tomboy. Brett knows of her power over men and also flaunts it. The best example of this would be her and Jake's relationship. If you want to know what happens to her and Jake, please go read the book. To the right of the conclusion, one will see the movie trailer for the 2012 Great Gatsby movie. And to the right of that is the trailer from the 1957 movie version of The Sun Also Rises. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.